On the edge of one of Southampton's green spaces, Hoglands Park, is a small plaque recording an event that took place over 80 years ago. An air raid shelter located in the park took a direct hit. Over the decades, this tale has become one of the most well-known in Southampton's wartime story, but parts of it are still shrouded in mystery. Modern retellings often include that the bodies were left in place, that concrete was filled into the shelter, and that upwards of 50 people lost their lives. But is all this true? And what can we say for certain about the bombing of the Hoglands Park shelter? The shelter itself was known as Number 5 Shelter. It had been constructed by digging a long trench into the park and then covering it with a cap that, it was hoped, would offer protection. The shelter was close to the southeasternmost point of the park by Houndwell Place. Anybody was allowed to use the shelter. Some of the victims lived fairly close to the shelter, Marsh Lane, Oxford Street, College Street, and others from further afield, like Bursledon. The bombing occurred on the night of Sunday the 1st of December 1940, which was the last of 3 nights of horrific bombing raids that are collectively known as the Southampton Blitz. In particular, the shopping district was badly hit, including one of the largest shops in Southampton, Edwin Jones, a stone's throw from the shelter. Tragically, the shelter took a direct hit, killing those inside. Accounts of the aftermath are horrific. The son of an eyewitness once said, "That night, those people were going around afterwards with baskets trying to pick up bits of bodies and clear up the mess." Another observer recalled seeing a shocked ARP warden emerging from the scene holding just a severed hand. Despite the suggestions of very high numbers, it is known how many people died in the shelter. 14 died in the raid itself, and a further 2 died of their injuries in the following days. There's no evidence that the shelter was infilled with quicklime. This is probably an embellishment by later retelling. The youngest casualty was 11-year-old Kenneth Leahy, who died with his older sister Mary and father John. The oldest fatality was 66-year-old John Connolly, who'd been a resident in the Sailors' Home in Oxford Street. Later in the war, Hoglands Park was taken over by the American Army in their preparations for D-Day, but they did not build anything where the bomb had fallen. It's possible that it became a yard for military vehicles. The bombing of Hoglands Park is just one incident that reminds us of the brutal cost of war and the sacrifice of people in Southampton during that awful time.